Today, a majority of Americans believe their children will not enjoy a better standard of living than they do today. Perhaps even more startling, in its 2014 polling of the American people, Gallup found that for the first time ever, Americans identified government itself as the biggest problem facing America today. That's right. Americans believe that the government we have built is a bigger problem than issues like the economy, unemployment, health care, or even terrorism. Please pause your audiobook and refer to Figure 1.1, The Most Important Problems Facing the U.S., a 2014 survey of Americans. Irresponsible, thoughtless, and unsustainable spending is at the root of the problem. Imagine taking your family out to dinner on a Friday evening. Mom and Dad, Jimmy and Susie, heck, bring your in-laws as well. Nothing outrageous or extravagant for dinner. 2 appetizers for the table, pasta and chicken dishes for everyone, a couple of beers. And your family loves dessert, so you get 3 for the 6 of you to share. The bill comes to $120, but as the waiter places it before you, you do something strange. You hand him 2 credit cards. As he eyes you quizzically, you stand up at the end of the table and raise your half-finished beer in the air. So, Ellen and I have some news to share. You might have noticed that Ellen didn't order a glass of wine tonight. That's because we're pregnant. Yes, that's right. We're going to have another baby, and we're so happy you're here to share the joy with all of us. Some people at a nearby table applaud in support. You continue on with your toast. With Jimmy and Susie and so many activities at school and all the vet bills for Fido, and you know we just had to get a new hot water heater, well, we're going to have to start doing things a little differently around here with another mouth to feed. Your father-in-law starts to reach for his wallet in order to pay for dinner, but you wave him off. You turn to make eye contact with a now totally befuddled waiter. What we're going to do is only pay $84 toward the dinner bill on my credit card because that's all we have money for. You point to Ellen's belly. But I'm going to put the rest, the other $36, on the baby's credit card. We're going to make the baby start paying in 6 months for what we ate tonight. In fact, who wants coffee? Sounds stupid, doesn't it? More than stupid, it's immoral. You're foisting the bill of your own gluttony onto your unborn child. But this is what America does every single day. And let's be clear, this is what we as Americans do every day. We eat whatever we want, and we only pay 70% of the bill. Healthcare insurance for everyone, and pay 70% of it. Prescription drugs for everyone, and pay 70% of it. Lavish subsidies for farmers, and pay 70% of it. We can certainly decide as a nation whether we actually want health care coverage, free prescription drugs, farming subsidies, and many other goods and services government provides. Maybe we do want them, maybe not. But we simply cannot continue to eat a full 9-course meal when we're not even paying for our entree. Political candidates always try to frame the coming election by telling us that our nation is at a crossroads, and voters need to select the kind of America they want. By any reasonable standard, that is a misrepresentation of facts. Our nation is not at a crossroads. We were at a crossroads decades ago, and we already picked the road. We picked massive deficit spending. We picked government agencies that pay their employees well but deliver mediocre quality. We picked lucrative public employee pensions and generous retiree health care programs that we don't adequately fund. We chose to define success as throwing more money at a problem rather than ensuring an appropriate result. And as time passed, the path we chose has grown darker and rife with potholes, dimming streetlights, and collapsing bridges. Literally. Elected officials, candidates, and pundits often point to our decaying public institutions and say that we need to run government more like a business. They pound podiums and whip crowds into frenzies with calls to make government agencies run like businesses. Really? Does anyone really want to dial 911 when their house is on fire and have the dispatcher ask them for a credit card number?